Okay, hi everyone. It is that wonderful time of year where there is a dearth of content being released in terms of new music reviews, so I've resorted at long last to doing some reaction content. God help us all. So for the next however long, it's going to be completely unscripted, completely off the cuff, just a blind reaction to Progarchives' top 50 albums of 2023. Now, I couldn't be bothered doing the whole 100 because ain't nobody got time for that. So I've got myself to a position where I'm ready to look at the 50th. I haven't seen any of it. Been completely just scrolled down, ignored everything, like la la la, can't see it, blah blah, doesn't exist. So I'm now ready to give a sort of hands down, completely just whatever reaction to the top 50. So let's get into it and see what we got going on here. So, number 50, Mana Mirage. Autobiography, Canterbury Scene. Never heard of this one. Can't say I know it. Yeah, that's a nice album art though, at least. But gonna have to be one of those ones I put on the back burner to watch later. Okay, let's move on to number 49. In Time by the Emerald Dawn. Now, I've seen this one doing the rounds. I've seen it sort of like reviewed by few other blogs and what have you, but not been one that I've got around to checking out. But it is very much on the list, as it were. Okay. Oh, here we go. 48. I actually have listened to this one. Hymns for Hungry Spirits Volume 2 by Great Wide Nothing. Very, very good record. Came out quite early in 2023. Very strong. Loved this one. Really, really good. Definitely one I need to get back into listening to because, quite frankly, I don't think I've given it its dues, really. I'll be honest with you. But what I have listened to of it, very much an enjoyable record. Very, very good. Okay. Ooh, okay. Yeah, 47. Dominic Sanderson's Impermanence. This is one I've been listening to a fair bit of recently, and I have been thoroughly enjoying this. It's kind of like, when I've been looking back at like big hype records from other people who've been sort of like talking a lot about this album, and I tell you, it is really, really good. Not given it enough, as I say, enough listeners to give a real opinion of it, but what I have listened to, mm, very, very good album. Like it a lot. 46. Oh, yeah, Comedy of Errors, Threnody for a Dead Queen. Again, another one that I gave a few listens to earlier this year. Never really gave it enough time, I don't think, just because I just don't have enough time in the year to give everything a listen to be honest with you. But Comedy of Errors, great band. Threnody for a Dead Queen, great record. Not my favourite by Comedy of Errors, but definitely a really solid entry into their catalogue. 45? Really? Himmlerbarken Volume 2 at 45 out of 50. Excuse me, dear users of Prog Archives, what is wrong with you? Okay, I'm slightly biased. This was my number one record of 2023, so to see it down here at 45, that's a little bit. I'm kind of shook. I am slightly shook. I'm not going to try and pretend otherwise. That is very surprising, which makes me wonder what on earth is above this. What, pray, is number 44? What record dares be one higher than Moon Safari? Really? Ingenious Devices by Big Big Train, the one that isn't really even a proper studio up. You know what? No. No, no, no. No. Incorrect. It's fine. It's good, but no. Bad Prog Archives. Naughty. Anyway, let's move on. 43. Tritop's Rite of Cassandra. Now, again, this is one I listened to like once, I think it was, and it was fine. It was, I don't know, felt like maybe it was just teensy bit borrowing from other sources, maybe a tad more than I'd be happy with. But do you know what? It's a fine record. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just didn't set me on fire. Ros Vitalis, Kia Nisciunt Quid Faciunt. I probably butchered that completely, but I've never heard of it, so it's going on the pile of things to listen to once I've done this video. 41. Hey, Motorpsychos, yay. What fun. I love a bit of Motorpsycho. This one didn't really hit me as hard as some of the other records they've released recently, like especially the last few. But it's still a fine album. It's Motorpsycho. I would say objectively, when was the last time they released a bad album? I just don't think they have it in them to do so. They're just really good. And it's really nice to see them sort of like riding high here, even if it is above Moon Safari, which I completely disagree with, but hey, that's just my opinion on the matter. Okay, moving on. We've got Retreat from Moscow with Dreams, Myths, and Machines. Again, another one I don't know. Going to have to go on the list with this one. I'm getting a lot of things, to explore afterwards, though, which is good. I like that. I do like that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Overhead's Telepathic Minds. Now, somebody did recommend that I check this one out on one of my recent videos, and I did check it out. And boy, hubba hubba, is it a long record, but it's really, really good. You know, I'm actually kind of annoyed I didn't discover this one earlier in the year because I'm starting to think if I gave this one enough time, if I really explored more into this one, it could probably be up there in the honorable mentions or maybe even the top 15. It is superb. This is a great record. Definitely don't miss one. You know, don't miss this one yourself if like me and you missed it the first time around. Go check it out. Really, really good. Oh, here's my slight bugbear. I'm not a huge fan of the Samurai of Prague. I'm going to be honest with you. I just don't. I don't know. Something about putting the name of the genre in your band name is a little bit cringe to me. I'm not going to lie. That'd be like calling yourself, I don't know, the gunslinger of metal or the. I don't know. It just feels a little bit cringe to me. And I'm just not a big fan of what they're doing with them. I've listened to a bunch of their records and just none of them have really stuck with me. I might give this one a go just out of so I can objectively say that I have listened to it and can make a real opinion of it. But as a general rule, not a big fan of the Samurai Prog. So, a little controversy there for you. Oh, Swans. Oh, good grief. Here we go again. With The Beggar. Swans is another band that I have desperately tried so hard on so many occasions to get into, but I just can't do it. I have tried. Lord knows I've tried, but I don't know. Maybe they're just too dense for me. I just can't just chip away at that hard exterior to get into the soft, nuggety center within. I just can't do it. So, whatever. Eventually, maybe I'll give them another go, but I keep telling myself this and it never ends well. So, whatever. Swans, everyone. Yeah. Single celled organism, Event Horizon. Again, not familiar with this, but it seems to be pretty well regarded, and it's got a circle on the cover, so I've got to check it out, obviously. Those who don't know, I seem to have a sort of thing for circles on cover art. It seems to be what my thing is. So maybe this will be an amazing record. I'll check it out. It's going on the list as everything else has done so far. Okay, 35. Isles Beyond Drama. I feel like I'm so out of the loop with all this. I just do not know this record at all. I don't even recognize the album art. So, again, I can't really pass comment on this one, but I'm going to have to check it out. 34. IO Earth Sanctuary. Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about this band. IO Earth. Yeah, I used to listen to them a whole bunch a few years ago. Really, really like that. Okay, cool. They've got a new record out. I will definitely have to check that into because I really like this band. God, I completely forgot they were making music. That's really cool. I will definitely have to check that out. That's cool. 33 Deposed King, One Man's Grief. This was a great record. I really, really enjoyed this one. Listened to it earlier this year. Just again, it was one of those ones which didn't quite stick with me enough as some of the other records I've heard this year, but it is genuinely really, really good. Really nice to see it sort of riding up in the list here. Mice on Stilts, I am proud of you. Yeah, again, this one I listened to a lot earlier this year. Really gorgeous record. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely loved it. But once more, just like with so many of the others on this list, it's just not one that really stuck with me for a long time. But the time I did spend with it, I definitely enjoyed. So I think if you've not listened to this one, 100% check it out. Really strong record. 31. Baroness by Stone. That's not right at all. Stone by Baroness. This is what the problem you get when you do live, unfiltered, unedited, unscripted content from me. I just completely make all the mistakes in the world. Great record. Probably one of my favorite Baroness records. It's certainly one of the ones which are the best production, which is hard considering the standard they're going up against. Surprising to see it riding this high on Progarchives, though. I didn't think this would be kind of this website's kind of jam, but there we go. Fun record, love it, great fun. Enjoyed this one. Caravella Escalate, I think. Number 3. Wow, that's actually doing quite well, isn't it? Number 30, Symphonic Prog. Okay, again, that's going on the list. Not heard it. Let's go check it out. I'm getting lots to do after this video. Love it. Number 29, The Trip. Now the time has come. Rock progressivo italiano. Chances are I'm probably not going to enjoy it that much because I generally don't really vibe with Italian prog. It's fine, but just as a general rule, it's probably one of my least favorite progressive rock genres. But hey, do you know what? I'm going to check it out. Whatever. I've got plenty to do over the New Year's time, till Christmas time. Plenty of time to kill, plenty of time to sort of catch up on things. So I will check it out. I will check it out. The Rizard Kraski Project with Odyssey 9999. I like the cover art. That's very cool. But again, not familiar with this one. I'm starting to think, obviously, that there is some sort of secret hidden font of knowledge that the Progarchives users have that I simply don't, because most of these I ain't ever heard of, and I thought I had a pretty diverse and interesting taste in progressive music, but apparently not that interesting or extensive. Well, whatever. We're only at number 28. Things could change. Okay, number 27. Carfagan's Passage to the Forest of Mysterious. I kind of like Carfagan. I'm not like massive on them or anything like that. They've always been sort of one of those prog bands who I will listen to and I will enjoy the sounds of, but I will never really dig deep, if that makes any sense. It never really feels like it's anything which is particularly, my jam, but I never dislike what I hear, if that makes any sense. I vaguely remember listening to this one earlier this year. I might have done. I might go back to it. I don't know. But, it was a fine enough record from what I remember of it. 26. The Mercury Tree, self-similar. I do like that cover art. That's very cool. I will have to definitely check that one out just based off the artwork alone. I think that's really neat looking. But again, never heard of the Mercury Tree, never heard of self-similar. Hopefully, I'll find something cool within. You never know. 25. Oh, here we go. Sunchild, Exotic Creatures and a Stolen Dream. I gave this one a few listens a little bit ago. Scott from the Prog Corner sort of like shone the spotlight on this one. Really quite enjoyed it. It was a great record. Really, really fun. Again, not something I tend to go back to that often, but the time that I did spend with it, I thoroughly enjoyed. 24's Mystery Redemption. Yeah, this again, I found out this year that apparently Mystery were a pretty big band in progressive rock, and I'd obviously never heard of them because I'm some sort of cultural vacuum when it comes to progressive rock, apparently. But I love this one. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this album. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. The only reason, again, why I didn't really feature any higher is because I simply didn't get to spend enough time with it. But it's a great album. Mystery are a band that I've definitely sort of like now appeared on my radar of things to check out going forward, and I certainly enjoyed the time I spent with this one. Really good record. Loved it. 23, Stefano Panuzzi, Pages from the Sea. That album art, again, very, very cool. Never heard of this person, never heard of this album. Seems, again, pretty high regarded. Gonna check it out. Seems pretty cute. 22. Ooh, Unitopia's Seven Chambers. Yes, now I did like this one a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed this album. I'd actually gotten halfway through writing a review of this album, but, I can't remember. Something got in the way. Possibly the whole buying of a house thing. I don't know. Something sort of stopped me from writing a review of this album, and I don't remember what it was. I might go back to it eventually. Great record. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Loved this one to bits, and I really wanted to spend some more time with it. 21. Yours Salaget. Now, again, I'm pretty sure this is one that the Prog Corner was like really big into, but again, I've just not had the chance to spend much time with this one. It's been one that I think I gave it like a curiosity listen, thought it was cool, and figured I'd like check it out later. But then I think something else came along, which like totally took my attention away from it. But I've got time now. I'll go back to this one later, I'm sure. 20. Built for the Future, 2084 Heretic. Again, not familiar with this one either. This is basically like, I might as well just throw out all the ones I've never heard of and just like, this guy doesn't know anything about progressive music. What is this loser? Who is he commenting on this list? But whatever. It's going on the check it out later pile. Okay. Here we go. Hackberry's Breathing Space. Loved this one. Absolutely loved this one. I actually picked this up on vinyl like about a week after I first listened to it because I loved it that much. Recently featured it on my Best of the Rest list, where you can probably find all my various thoughts about it. But it's a great, slow-burning instrumental piece. Absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to see more from Hackberry because, frankly, Breathing Space absolutely kicked my ass. Love this record so much. Very pleased to see it riding this high as well. That's very cool. 18, Amie Split, Quiet Euphoria. I remember seeing the album art for this doing the rounds on various websites like earlier this year, and it was like, I'll definitely check that one out, and then I completely failed to check it out at all. And I'm really annoyed about the fact that I haven't, because I have been trying to get more into the Canterbury scene sort of stuff, like with Zop's Dominion earlier this year, which I absolutely adored. But yeah, that's going to go on the pile as well. Oh, speaking of Zop's Dominion, there it is. There it is. Love this record. Oh, do you know what? It's kind of wild. Just talk about that. Hey, look, Zop's Dominion. There's Zop there. Here's a Zop, there's a Zop, everywhere a Zop, Zop, whatever. Love this album, absolutely fantastic. Really, really good sort of like Canterbury scene stuff. Lots of really good instrumental stuff, but some vocals added into the mix as well, which really helped to mix things up on this album. Love it to bits. Wonderful record. Great to see it riding so high. Ah, Nebul Scar says Exul. Now, this really was a bit of a contentious one for me because this was very, very close to being in my top 15 of the year. It's just that I ever so slightly preferred other records to it, but I am super thrilled to see it here. It's been so long since we last had a record from Nebul Scaris that this one coming back, it was such a great, like, didn't miss a beat kind of record. They just picked up exactly where they left off. Everything was brilliant. Love this album so much. And if you've got any sort of interest in that kind of extreme progressive metal with like that sort of light and dark shade and all that sort of thing going on with it, you cannot afford to miss this album. It is brilliant. Definitely check it out. Ozric Tentacles, Lotus Unfolding. Huh. Who knew they were still making music? That's kind of cool. I haven't listened to Ozric Tentacles in like 20 years almost. Jeez. An old work colleague of mine was like mad into them, and he kind of switched me onto them about like 15 years ago. I think it was something like that. I can't remember how long it was. It was a while ago, but however long it was, it's been a hot minute since I last listened to these guys. So that's actually really cool. They're still active and still making music. I'm definitely going to check that out. That's really cool. 14. Andrea Orlando, La Scienza della Stagione. Again, Italian progressive rock. Probably gonna have this one low on the pile of ones to check out. But this is more just of a me problem than a problem with the genre. I just don't vibe it that hard. But I could be entirely wrong, and this could be like one of the best Italian progressive rock albums ever, and it could completely change my mind on the situation. I don't know. Maybe I'll find out later. 13, Agusa's Prime Materia. Now, again, I know I've seen this one appear on quite a few lists leading up to the year end, but it's just not been one that I've checked out yet. Simply because, again, it's all about time. And time is something I don't have a lot of lately with moving house and the job thing and everything that's been happening in the past few months. It's just been a lot. But considering how well this has been received by some of my contemporaries, I am definitely going to have to check this one out. I'm going to try and make some time for it and see what I think of it. 12. Homunculus res, echo l'impero de Dopy Sensei. I mean, sure. It's got a fish on it. It's the fish record. I don't know. It's got a puffer fish. It's not making that amusing noise that puffer fish eating carrot made, unfortunately. But I like to imagine that's maybe sampled somewhere within the record. Who knows? But yeah, again, Canterbury scene stuff, not normally my strong point, but I will have to check this one out just because of how high this is riding. Okay, number 11. Oh, it's The Fox and the Bird. Okay, good night. This was number 15, if memory serves correctly, on my top 15 records, and with good reason. It is fantastic. Oh, I love this album. It's so good. If you haven't checked this one out yet, and you like the whole sort of like female fronted progressive metal with a little bit of edge of darkness to it, good, strong narrative to the concept album that it's got going on, absolutely check this one out. It's really great, and I love it 100%. Okay, top 10. Let's go. What do we got? Chronicles of Father Robin, Book 1. Okay, not a surprise to see that riding this high. I have been delving into this one lately. Big fan of Wobbler and all that sort of thing, so it's no surprise that this was also really ticking some of my boxes. Um, haven't got around to listening to all three of the albums yet, because obviously only two of them are out on streaming at the moment. But what I have listened to from both this and part two, I have absolutely adored, and I will be having to take that contentious should I include this in the 2024 albums of the year, considering the last part comes out on streaming in 2024? But that's a morality question I will address at a later date. But whatever. Number 9, we've got Giant Sky with Giant Sky 2. Gave this one a couple of listens like a week ago. Really enjoyed it, but again, I've just not had the time to explore it fully. Really good album though, and certainly enjoyed what I've heard from it so far. So it's kind of cool to see it this high. Okay, number 8. Aviation's Luminaria, really that high? Okay, I mean, sure, it's an amazing record. I love this. I gave this a full review back earlier in the year. Absolutely fantastic. Really, just a complete treat for headphone users. Like, it is such a sumptuous, well mixed, well produced, polished, intricate album. I love it so much. Really cool to see that, like riding this high in the list. That's very cool. I like that. Number 7. Aha! Speaking of Wobbler having a good year, it's Lars Frederick Foley with Fire Foretellinger. Again, reviewed this one earlier in the year. One of the best sort of retro sounding symphonic prog albums I've heard in a long time. This is how you bring the past to the present, it's fantastic. I don't know whether I would really have it above book one of Tales of Father Robin, but you know what? It's still fantastic, and it definitely deserves its place up here. Number six. Oh, speaking of Father Robin, there's book two. Not given enough listens of book two yet to decide whether I prefer it to book one, but it is at least as good as the first part. I mean, I will make up my mind later on whether or not I think it's better than the first part or whatever. But you know what? This is clearly a good year for anybody related to Wobbler because with Lars Frederick Foley here and Chronicles of Father Robin both down here and up there, they're kind of killing it here. Okay, top five. Here we go. What do we got? What do we got? Peter Gabriel with I.O. Do you know what? Genuinely, I figured I'd see him a lot higher because the user base of Prog Archives does tend to lean a lot more towards legacy artists and like classic prog than it does anything like new or contemporary in that regard. So I am surprised that this is not like top three, to be honest with you. Again, featured in my top 15. Long time for this record to be coming. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic piece of work. Just magic Peter Gabriel stuff from start to finish. Love it. Number four, Seven Impale Summit. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely justified. Love this album. Absolutely fantastic record. So good. Just I think it's like only 4 tracks long. Each and every single one of them is a complete delight. Such a journey that you go through on every single track here. Amazing record. And now Seven Impale are just like completely no bad albums at all. Everything they've released has been absolute killer so far. So it's good to see them carrying on that trend here. But now we get to the big three. What do we got? Okay, number three, number three, number three. Kamamoy, Strings from the Edge of Sound. Nope, never heard of it. Okay. So there's a number three. So maybe that'll be the first one that I check out after I finish doing this video because you don't get to number three for nothing, right? But I can't really comment on it. Never heard of it. We'll find out more later, I guess. And the last two. Number two, we've got again. Oh my god, I'm so out of the loop. Rascal Reporters, a strange, weirdly well spelt weird, strange case of Steve. Well, I like the album title and I like the album art. That's actually quite fun. Um, yeah, that's interesting. I have never heard of this, but I love it already just from the album artwork and the name of the record alone. So sorry, Karmamoy. Yeah, Karmamoy, whatever. You're gonna have to wait because I'm checking out the Strange Lizard album first. So you'll have to be patient. It's fine. So, what is number one? The number one pick of Prog Archives in 2023. Oh, what will it be? Do you know what? I'm genuinely stumped because I figured Moon Safari would have been a lot higher than it was. So I genuinely don't actually have a clue. I'm just trying to think back through like the big prog releases of the year. I don't think. Yes, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's yes. Maybe it's Mirror to the Sky. I don't know. Let's find out. Number one is Earth Signs Let the Truth Speak. Now, I did not see that coming. That's absolutely awesome. I love this album like quite a lot. Earthside are one of my like favorite so far. Only had one record up until this point. Now they've got two bands like that have ever existed. And Let the Truth Speak is magic. I think it was at number four. I think on my top 15. I don't even know my own top 15. Great, check me out. Feel free to correct me in the comments, whatever. Love this album. Absolutely incredible. Quite surprised to see it at number one on the Prog Archives Top 2023. That's really quite surprising, I'll be honest with you. I figured Peter Gabriel would have like totally been up there, but that's really cool. Okay, Earthside at number one. Congrats, guys. That's very cool. Okay, right. With that, I suppose that is me wrapping things up now for this reaction to the top 50 albums of 2023 on Prog Archives at the time of recording on the 23rd of December 2023. That was pretty cool. If you did like this video, guys, please do, as always, consider subscribing to the channel and let me know if you'd like to see more of this kind of content because it's going to be a little bit before new reviews start up again because obviously it's Christmas, it's New Year. 2024 is going to take a little, like maybe a couple of weeks to get going, sort of thing. So if you do want to see this kind of content a little bit more, just please do let me know and I might start putting some of this stuff together. Until next time, guys, as always, keep your rhyme signatures extremely odd.